This is the story about how this massive World War II Essex-class fleet aircraft carrier received its very strange name. I'm talking about the mysterious aircraft carrier USS Shangri-La. Naming a prestigious warship like an aircraft carrier is a process and honor based on tradition, history, heroism, national pride, as well as a whole bunch of politics and bureaucracy. In the United States Navy, a ship might carry a name passed down from ship to ship. For instance, during the Second World War, the aircraft carrier USS Hornet was in fact the 7th United States Navy ship christened with that name. The first was a 10-gun sloop dating all the way back to the Revolutionary War. The USS Hornet's sister carrier, USS Wasp, was the 8th American ship to carry that name. Now, both American carriers would be lost in the Pacific Theater in 1942 against the Japanese Imperial Navy. Both carriers would also be replaced before war's end by newer, larger fleet carriers with the same names. So as we just talked about, through World War II, American fleet carriers were named in succession after previous ships of the line. And I'm talking about famous names like Enterprise, Independence, Intrepid, Essex, Hornet, and Wasp. Later, ships like Bon Homme Richard, Cabot, Franklin, Kearsarge, and Randolph. But carriers were also named after notable historic American battle victories. Carriers like Saratoga, Princeton, Yorktown, Bunker Hill, Antietam, Bennington, Ticonderoga, and Bellau Wood. Therefore, sticking with that theme, battles won during World War II in the Pacific Theater became the names of carriers meant to finish off the Japanese at the end of World War II. And I'm talking about carriers like USS Midway, USS Leyte, and Coral Sea. However, there was one aircraft carrier whose name seemed to defy all of those U.S. Navy naming conventions so popular of the day. And I'm talking about the USS Shangri-La. But if we're just meeting for the first time, my name is Ken Stano, and I am a World War II historian, mechanical engineer, and pilot. Okay, the USS Shangri-La, I may have heard of it once or twice, maybe when I was younger. It always seemed strange to me, way out of place. It definitely did not seem to have been named after a previous ship of the line like Wasp or Hornet, and it definitely did not seem to have been named after a famous battle like Lexington or Saratoga. It wasn't until a History X subscriber named John, or Jack after his grandfather, began requesting that I create a video about this World War II aircraft carrier. He was very persistent. Now, to say that I didn't know much about the USS Shangri-La was an understatement. I mean, I didn't really know anything at all, nothing. So I decided to contact the USS Shangri-La Association to see what I could learn.
I'm Bob Kettenheim. I'm the historian for the USS Shangri-La Association. I served aboard 68, 69, and part of 70.
Okay, many of us are not aware of the existence of this World War II aircraft carrier. So how did it come to be named in honor of the Doolittle Raid in 1942, April of 1942, that launched B-25s off of a carrier in order to bomb Tokyo?
Roosevelt was infatuated with James Hilton's book, Lost Horizon.
Okay, James Hilton's novel, a story about a paradise village in Tibet called Shangri-La that some Westerners stumble across in the 1930s.
He thought that was an incredible story. Of course, the whole operation was supposed to be very much a secret. It was such an incredible thing, just a few months after Pearl Harbor, that we were able to strike back. So when asked, when he had held his press conference, where did the raid come from? Where did our planes come from? Now, I've heard it two different ways. He said it came from our new secret base at Shangri-La, or he just said the word Shangri-La. Regardless, he said it. The original war bond drive was that the United States people would come up with a bond drive to replace Hornet. We'll do it in honor of that raid. Now, this is where it becomes muddy. Did someone say we want this to be named Shangri-La, or did the Navy assign the name? But Shangri-La was built at the Norfolk Naval Shipyard in Portsmouth, Virginia. Something else that's not known related to Shangri-La is the fact that Camp David, the presidential retreat's original name was Shangri-La. That was changed by Eisenhower during his administration in honor of his grandson, David Eisenhower.
Now, proper spelling, okay?
Yes.
Is it supposed to be hyphenated or no?
It most certainly is. There have been flag officers. In fact, the one flag officer that really disputed it, Bulkley, he argued up and down about that. And our executive officer at the time put him in a boat, and they went around the stern of the ship, and he pointed to it and says, right there, that's been on this ship since it was originally commissioned. It is a hyphenated name. You see it both ways. I've never seen official Navy records where it was not hyphenated.
If you enjoy learning obscure facts about World War II ships, like the aircraft carrier USS Shangri-La, then please consider subscribing to this channel, because coming up next, we'll talk about some of the extraordinary carrier landings that occurred only aboard the USS Shangri-La. My name is Ken Stano. Thank you for checking out History X.